Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for clicking on my video. My name is Mayela and I usually post videos here on my life as a nurse and day off vlogs. And today is going to be a most frequently asked question video. Since I do share my career journey here on the internet, on YouTube and on Instagram, I constantly get messages from nursing students, from college students, from high school students wanting to ask me some interview questions about my career and my journey to where I am now, both educationally and professionally. Last week, I was part of a career panel for an organization in my county, and I did speak to high school students about my career as a journey. Here's a list of questions, and this is the most common questions that I usually get every time I get asked to be interviewed. So just gonna get started, and that way anytime another message comes in, I have somewhere to direct all of you. And once again, you do not have to be a student to watch this. If you just want to learn about my career journey as a nurse, if you're interested in maybe becoming a nurse or have nurses in your family or just want more information, this video is for you. Okay, so the first section is just an introduction with my name, my title, and what my role entails. So like I said earlier, my name is Mayela and my current title is a public health nurse in field medicine with farm workers. So a public health nurse is a registered nurse that just has an extra certification. So I am a registered nurse, and the public health nurse is just an extra certification that I was able to get. My role entails, like I said, I work with farm workers. So currently I work for a county here in California, and I go out to the farms, do a lot of outreach, education. I do some hands-on things like blood draws, vaccinations, blood pressure checks, all kinds of stuff. But if you want to know more about that, I have tons of day in the life of a public health nurse videos, so go ahead and check those out. I'll leave some link down below. Now we're going to get into the questions. First question is, what sparked your interest in the field? So I would say I have always been fascinated with the human body, how it worked, what it can do. When I was younger, I remember watching live surgeries on TV with my dad. They used to play those where they didn't blur anything out, but now I don't think they do that anymore. But that is something that sparked my interest in the medical field. So yeah, watching live surgeries on TV uncensored. Next question is, when you were in school, college or high school, did you know what kind of career you wanted to be in? So I would say I was fortunate that I figured out what I wanted to do senior year of high school. And I know many people who still don't know what to do in their later 20s and 30s, and that's okay because there are so many possibilities. So I did know in school that I wanted to do something in the medical field. So I think I have no idea how I figured out nursing, but I had never had any nurses in my family. I didn't know any nurses, so the whole concept or career of nursing was very new to me. But I think I just heard they probably had some kind of presentation, and at that point it was when I decided that I would pursue nursing. Next question is, what education is required to work in your career? So for nursing, you can actually get an associate's, which is what I did first. Nursing programs are very impacted, which means that there are more applicants than spots available. Even 12, 13 years ago, oh yeah, and just to let you know, I have been a nurse for over 13 years now. I graduated in 2009. So even back in 2009, nursing programs were highly impacted. So I did have to apply several times, but I was able to get into an associate's degree nursing program, and with that you can graduate, get a nursing RN license, and you can start working. So with an associate you can start working as a registered nurse at a hospital or a clinic, but my current role is a public health nurse, which does require a bachelor's of science in nursing. So that is currently what I have and what my current job required. Next question is, what and or who helped you decide? So I would say I'll answer it as the perspective of what helped me decide to pursue education, to become a nurse. So I am an immigrant. My parents are immigrants. I immigrated here very young. I was just a toddler when I came to the United States, but growing up, I did see my parents. I saw their struggles. I saw them working multiple jobs trying to provide for us. As immigrants, they were in survival mode, and I knew that I wanted to honor their sacrifice in coming to a new country, not knowing the language, and I'm sure it was very scary for them coming with some young children. So that is what inspired me to pursue going to school. It was that I really wanted to honor my parents' sacrifice, and I did it. So the next is, what no one talks about the middle part of getting to your career. What challenges did you face along the way? So as a first generation college student and first generation enfermera, there were many challenges for me on my path to where I am now. I think the first one was navigating the college system. So as the first one in my family to go to college, I didn't have anybody who was guiding me, who was mentoring me through the process. I kind of had to figure out things on my own with the help of my counselor, or anyone that maybe just friends that were also going in the same path as me. So I would say that was one of the challenges. And the other one was I had to do a lot of waiting. So as I started speaking about earlier, I did have to apply multiple times to a nursing program to finally get in, and I finally got in on the third try. I was about to give up, honestly, because it can be very, very disheartening, and I felt very unmotivated. I thought maybe I wasn't good enough, but it just wasn't my time yet. So that was the second challenge that I can think of, was just the waiting to get into a nursing program and thinking that I was not going to be able to do it. The next question is, why is it important to get into your field of work? And my answer for this is because representation matters. Growing up, like I told you, I did not know any other nurses. That I had no nurses in my family. I never saw or met any nurses that looked like me, that had my color, brown skin. So I think that representation matters. It is important to have a lot of diversity, I guess, in the field. My whole goal is to share my career journey as a Latina registered nurse so that the younger generations aspiring nurses can get motivated and see that they can do anything they want. So that is one part of why it's important to get in this field of work. And of course, the second big part of it is so that our communities have representation in the people that are providing their healthcare. So like I said earlier, I do work with farm workers, and the fact that I am bilingual, bicultural, really helps me make a greater impact on their lives, on their health outcomes. And that is why it is very important for me, in my opinion, that we get into this field of work. So the next question is, what is a highlight or a struggle you have experienced in your career? So I think I will just keep talking about the topic that I was just talking about is that now, well, I have, during my whole nursing career so far, the last 13 years, I have held a variety of roles in different settings, at the bedside, in a clinic, and now literally out in the field, in field of medicine, with farm workers. And one of the highlights is that I'm able to serve my community. So the farm workers that I serve, or farm workers everywhere, are the backbone of our country. A lot of the times they are not represented, they fall through the cracks. And I am so grateful that in my current role, I am able to serve them as best as I can, because they deserve the same care as anybody else. If you have fresh fruit and vegetables or pretty flowers, it's all thanks to a farm worker. Next question is, do you have any advice for anyone who is interested in this career path? Something that I learned really quickly in this career path was not to take anything personally. And I actually did a whole video on kind of my top 10 tips for new nurses or any nurses, and go ahead and check out that video. I'll leave it linked down below, but I do speak about this briefly there, and it is to not take anything personally. I learned this pretty quickly and what I realized is that most of the people that you're encountering are having really bad days. They're having really scary symptoms. They're scared, they're in pain, they would rather be home. And most of the time, how people treat you has more to do with how they feel about themselves than it does about you. So always remember that. Don't take anything personally. And the very last question is, what advice would you give your younger self, knowing what you know now? I would tell my younger self to not compare my journey with that of others. So like I told you, I had to apply to nursing school 3 different times, and I was seeing my classmates that I was doing all my prerequisites in, I was seeing them getting into nursing programs, and that comparison, it was no good for anybody. And even after graduating, I did graduate 2009, which was a time of a recession, the Great Recession, and no hospitals were hiring. They were having hiring freezes. No one was hiring new nurses without experience. So I had to wait over 2 years to finally get my first job as a nurse. And once again, I was seeing my classmates that graduated with me. I was seeing them get job offers. But the reality was that I am on my own journey, you are on your own journey, so there's no reason to compare. Also, you might see somebody who may look very successful and happy, but behind the curtains, you never know what is actually going on in their life. So the advice to my younger self is, don't compare your journey to that of others. All right, that was all the questions, and like I said, those are the gist of the questions that I always get. I have done some other career panel. I have been guest on other career panels for colleges and high schools, and those are the questions that I get asked. If I did miss any questions, please let me know down in the comments. You can also email me or contact me on my website. All that information is going to be down below. And if you like this kind of content, once again, I post a new video every Sunday all about my life as a nurse and day off vlogs. So go ahead and check it out and subscribe. I would love to have you here and have my channel grow. And if you are still here, I really appreciate you, and I hope to see you on my next one. Bye.